Okay, good morning, guys. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our weekly market outlook class where we look for opportunities in the market, where we try to be profitable, not perfect. Okay, so quickly, we would be running through some pairs. If you have any particular pair you want me to look at, you could just type that in the chat box. I'll come back to that in a bit. But for now, we'll look at the dollar. We'll look at the economic news more or less for the week, what we could expect in terms of fundamentals. And then we'll also look at the dollar, we'll look at US oil, see how that could correlate with things like EURUSD and dollar card as well. Okay, so let me just, I think I don't have a tab for, okay. So let me just go to forexfactory.com so that we can look out for the economic news events that we're expecting for the week. So for last week, there wasn't so much. There wasn't so much. It was a very nice trading week. There were not that many economic reports that were coming out that caused the markets to move at head-to-scatter. The market moved quite nicely. We were able to capture a lot of pips in the market. We looked for some opportunities. Some didn't play out as planned on our cutting-edge trading room. Some played out as planned. Some didn't play out as planned. It's all part of the game. The goal is to be profitable. We don't try to be perfect. Okay. Now, so if you go to forexfactory.com, today being Monday, we have just two news from the USD and also from the euro. So we have the FOMC meeting. The FOMC member Bullard speaking. We'll see how that turns out. Basically, it's just the market will try to read into what he says or what is said as regards whether it's going to be much hawkish or dovish, and the market will probably react to that. But one of the key things that will be discussed there is about rates. So are we going to see rate hike? If you can give off any clue that we might start seeing some rate hikes, that will probably affect the market. And then on Tuesday, we have the Aussie, the monetary policy meeting by 1:30 a.m. precisely. And then we also have some high impact news by 2 p.m. to 30 p.m. The PPI, producer price index for USD. We also have the core PPI and also the manufacturing index as well. So we'll see how the actual values relates to the forecasted value. So if they come out better or worse than expected, we could expect markets to react to them. Now, like I always say, I don't trade the news. I just pay attention to those high impact events coming up. So it enables me to know whether I want to stay away from the market at that particular time, or maybe if I'm already in a trade, see if I can, adjust my, manage my trade more properly, maybe move my stop loss closer or further, depending on the trade I currently have open, and, trying to give myself much more opportunity to be profitable. But I don't necessarily trade the value or the outcome of the news. Then on Wednesday, we have the GBP, the card. We also have lots of, so it's going to be, it's a more, what do you call it? It's a more intense week than last week. Last week was really, really, there weren't many metrics coming out, but this week we have a lot more from GBP, from CAD, from Aussie, from the US. And then, so mostly those are the three main economies we're going to be looking at in terms of the effect of the news. Okay, so let's go back to our chart and let us see where we stand. So we're going to start off by looking at the DXY. So we're going to look at the DXY. So DXY, which is the dollar index. As anticipated from our last discussion, we had this play out, right? So remember, when I'm looking at the dollar index, I'm not looking at it to trade it. I'm just looking at it to figure out, okay, what could we expect from the dollar, right? So this area, I remember talking about, we could see a drop in the dollar. We saw that, and you can see as I highlighted here, I was looking to see the dollar, start getting strengthening from this area. The market did go below, and then you could see that push up back into this one. So with the way it stands, it looks like we could see a stronger dollar going into this week. And, that would then affect, now, just because we have a stronger dollar doesn't mean this dollar will be, the strongest, but relatively, if the DXY is, they're going to see the dollar gain against the major currency baskets, okay? Now, So far, with the way it looks, just pure technicals, it looks like we could see this continue to run up or to get to the highs of 97,500 or something like that. So kind of good for the dollar. So with that in mind, if you go to the Euro USD, now this is kind of like counter. So if the dollar is stronger, you'll see Euro USD coming down, just as you can see here. And if the dollar is weaker, you'll see Euro USD going up. Now, I pointed this out last week. Yeah, I think last week and last week. So last week I pointed this out here. We looked for buying opportunity down here. I did take this trade. So I have a trade open here. I did partial out at the top here. I still have some part of this trade open, and I'm going to leave it running. If the market wants to come down to break even, that's fine. But I'm going to leave this running because last week I talked about the fact that I did not like the fact that we did not take out this high, right? I didn't like the fact that we didn't take out this high. And notice what happened. Well, the market, so I wanted to see, you see this high here, this high was lower than it, right? So, and then the market started pulling back. I was like, the only thing I don't like about this is the fact that we did not take out this high, because if we did take out the high, it would mean that we could likely see this, a move down could just be a retracement to then go up. And sure enough, notice what the market did here. It went up. You could see how it took out the high. So clearly this high has been broken, right? So that is good, that is good. And so even though we're coming down, I am still more inclined to seeing this go up, right? I'm still more inclined to seeing this go up. So for the week, especially, remember we talked about dollar being stronger, so we could continue to see dollar strengthening, and then this could continue to drag itself downward. But once we start getting into this area I highlighted, this zone I highlighted here, I would start looking to see if we start getting some structural shifts on lower time frame, which I will then start looking to buy, add to my position to take this higher. So basically, this is what I'm looking for. So if we have the markets continue to drift down, right? If we have the markets continue to drift down into the zone, from anywhere within this zone, without taking out this low, as long as the markets stay above this low here, I like this trade much higher, right? So how am I looking to try and take advantage of this? Well, I would most likely want to see that structural shift on the smaller time frame. So let's say if we go down to the 1 hour chart, this is the 1 hour chart, right? Now, if on the 1 hour chart, just as you can see on your screen, the market is clearly bearish. Clearly, there's no two ways about it. The market is clearly bearish. You can see it in the sense that the market is making lower lows and lower highs, lower lows and lower highs and lower lows. So I expect to kind of see this continue to do this, and maybe we get into this zone. And then what I want to see is the market change structure, then make a higher low, and then maybe make a higher high, which is where I'll start looking to buy to then take this up, right? So I want this market to play out. Once I start seeing the change of structure, I will then look to participate as a buyer once I confirm. So that this will serve, it will serve as confirmation. You could use kind of like a trend line break, once you have a trend line break, buy the other side of the trend line. Down here, you could also look for price action confirmation candlestick. So maybe a rejection candle, a bullish engulfing, a bullish spin bar, or some sort of bullish confirmation from within this zone to then start looking to take this higher. But personally, I will be looking for all of those, but more importantly, I would want to see some structural shift on the lower time frame to then try to participate as a buyer to then take this high. So now, just because I did this from here, this could happen even from down here. The point is, as long as we don't take out this low here, I still favor a move to the top side. Okay, so that is that on euro dollar. Let's move on to GBP USD. So GBP USD is one of those pairs that favor, if the dollar continues to get stronger, just as it is. So let's go up to the daily chart so we can see this point highlighted. All of you should know I have been selling this from all the way up here. I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, and I also added some sell positions from this area here too as well. And then so for now, it's playing out quite nicely. We're looking to see if we would continue this next leg. So if this is so, basically if I zoom out, you see that clearly we're making structurally, we are in a bearish market, making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, and now this is our lower high. We're looking to see if we could get a lower low. Now, we know that that is a very, very big swing, and the market would not likely move in a straight line, which is the reason why, even though we made this push down, I was looking to see a retracement into this zone to then continue to take the price much lower. Okay, so as it stands now, I like this pair. I like GBP USD shorts. So if you were unable to get in on a trade here, what you might want to do is, let's say, slide down to a smaller time frame and see if you can participate if the market continues to make maintain a structural status. So if we have this as our impulse, we're looking to see if we could get back into something like this zone. So if we could get back into something like this zone, then look for selling opportunities around here, or maybe we could even continue to head higher and come into this zone. So I'll look for opportunities to participate as a seller within. So if price, where's my part two? If price continues to find its way up, if we tap into this zone, I'll be looking to see if I get some sort of confirmation, maybe candlestick rejection, maybe counter trend line break, maybe just a structural shift to then continue selling, or maybe the price doesn't respect this area without head higher to this point. I'll also be looking for some confirmation to then take this lower. So long term, and even short term, I'm looking to sell this pair, right? Okay, so that is GBP USD. Let's look at US oil. So US oil, let's go up to the daily charts. So like I mentioned, this looks like it wants to get to 100, to round number of $100 per barrel. And you can see that the part of least resistance as it stands is bullish. Any pullback, the market tends to rally up. Any pullback tends to rally up, and I don't like to frustrate. So one of the reasons I like to look at US oil, because it can give me some sort of idea as to what to expect from the Canadian basket. So looking at this, you could see I have the $100 per barrel marked out here. So we could, we could continue to grind ourselves up to this zone, and then most likely we would see this drop. What I'm not sure of is if do we get here? Do we get here? Maybe we don't get there, but this is due for a drop. I think if you let's look at what our momentum is saying. So notice this, we have price making a higher high, right? But notice we are having lower high on our momentum. So this is divergence. This is a bearish divergence. But the thing about bearish divergence is it's not absolute, in the sense that once it happens, the market will start dropping. The market could grind its way higher before dropping, but already we are being indicated that we are overstretched. The market is overstretched. If I pull up our moving average here, you'll see that we are far off from our mean, and so most likely we could see this try to balance out maybe before continuing higher. So here's one of two things. If price really wants to tap into hundreds, we could continue to just grind and get to 100, and then we drop. And if that happens, we could see a much bigger drop. On the other hand, if we fail to hold this area, and let's say we start breaking lower, it could just be a retracement to then take this out. But either way, this push downward would provide huge opportunity in the market in the form of either trading US oil directly or its related currency basket. So I'm going to have to take out this trend line. Is not the cleanest of trend line in my opinion. So let's not work with it. So what you can do is have this area on your watch list. So you want to have this low here, and you're looking to see if we take out the low, because you can see that the market has clearly been putting higher low and higher high. So you could see this is higher low, higher low, higher low. We're just making higher lows, and we've not taken out lows. So if we're going to start moving in the opposite direction, we want to see price take out this low and then put in a lower high, which we can then be looking to sell from, and then continue to head its way down. Now, if we do get that push downward, you don't necessarily need to expect price to continue to fall off the face of the earth. You could just use your Fib tool and look for where price may. Now, I'm not saying this is the top. So wherever the top is, whenever we start making lower lows, let's assume it's here. You might want to, if you're selling or you're looking for opportunities to sell, you want to look to hold that into the maybe the 38.2, maybe the 50, or maybe the 61.8 Fibonacci retracement level. You start managing your positions, maybe let a part of your trades to continue to run, and see how far that one goes. But first of all, you want confirmation. We are divergent, we are overstretched. We need to see this start heading lower. But what we are not sure is, do we head higher first, tap into 100, which is like a round number, before finding enough supply, from there to then take this lower, or do we start breaking lower and start heading down? Either way, we would want to be able to take advantage of it and participate, because that is the goal. Okay, so USOIL, GBPUSD, USD, and let's look a little bit at some cryptos. So BTCUSD. Okay, so BTCUSD, nice and smooth. I like this one a lot. So notice how, so I don't need to go and start reminding you again. You go back on my channel, and you'll be able to see previous analysis on Bitcoin and cryptos in general, and how the market has reacted exactly how we planned out. I did look for some accumulation, down here. When we tapped into this zone, I was able to participate as a buyer. I also added to my position up here, and we broke with this candle. So I really like this candle. And right now, what I like the most is the fact that, notice how we've taken out this high. We have clearly taken out that high. And even though it seems like we're pulling back down, which is, nice, I still like this, I still like higher prices on Bitcoin. So we could be coming back into support level or demand level, however you want to call it. So here is my expectation: low to high, to lower low, to higher low, to higher high, and then we could come back into a higher low to then make a new high, right? So this is what I'm looking for. If you start coming back into this zone, I'll be looking to add to my portfolio more or less and take this high. So remember what happens since BTC is like the mothership, it tends to move, the others tend to move with it. So you can find the same kind of outlook on Ethereum. The only difference being here is, in Ethereum, we have not taken out. So this is the reason why I currently prefer BTC, because of structure. We have not taken out. So in Ethereum, we just made a lower high, while in BTC, we made a higher high. So technically, BTC seems more sound than ETH, but we'll see how that one goes. Same thing goes with, I think, Shiba. So Shiba USD. Also, we had this high taken out here. You can see we've taken out that high clearly. So any pullback into this zone could just be, kind of markets trying to close out this pocket, find some more demand to then push higher. Okay, so BTC is the one we're looking at. So BTC USD. Here is what to watch for. So I'm going to just draw my structural box. This is our low, and that is our high. And we're looking to see if we come back into this sort of zone, if we come back into this sort of zone, I'll start looking for opportunities to take this higher to this point. Okay, so if we start tapping into like 37, 38, maybe, maybe lower 36,500, look to accumulate, take this high to maybe, let's see if we can get ourselves up to 50K. Okay, anybody wants me to look at any particular instruments, feel free. Did I miss? Okay, let's look at USD JPY. Let's look at USD JPY. Okay, so USD JPY is, let's see, we have not cleared the high. No, we have not. So this high here was 116.33.8. This one here was 116.24. So actually we did clear the high here, which is, good for the bulls. So maybe we're just pulling back to find some support to then take it higher, because clearly you can see the structure is intact. We're making higher highs and higher lows. So we're making higher highs and a higher low and a higher high. So maybe we come back, make a higher low, and then make a higher high. So we'll see how this one plays out. Not one of my favorites as a stand. As the stand at the moment. The other pairs are more interesting to me than this. But let's look at USD, AUD, sorry, gold, XAU USD. Okay, so I know a lot of people got bonds here. It happens, a lot of people got bonds here. This is the reason why proper trade management is key. I guess a lot of people were looking at this, and this is the reason why the market reacts like that. The market taps into this zone. Personally, I was looking for opportunities to sell, but I wasn't able to get any opportunity to sell. So here's what I was looking out for. So we tapped into this zone, which was nice. I wanted to see us get into this area, react. But what happened is, so this is the reason why confirmation is very, very important, especially if you're trying to trade against the trend, right? The trend, as clearly from about 2 weeks ago, the trend has been bullish, right? So we've been making higher highs and higher lows and higher highs and higher lows. So before I participate or jump in a trade, I want to see some sort of confirmation. So we took out this low, right? So we took out this low here, which was nice. I love to see that. And so I was looking to see, do we get back into this zone? So I wanted us to now, react from this zone, which would then enable me to participate as a seller. But unfortunately, being I wasn't able to participate in the trade, unfortunately I wasn't able to also have a drawdown on this trade as well. So I did not look to sell. I wasn't buying from down here, which was sad because that would have been a lot of money in my pocket. So from where it stands, I have to respect the fact that we have shifted. So I'm going to take this out. The shift in the sense that notice that we have taken out this high. Right, so we've taken out this high. So it means more often than not, the momentum is with the buyers. So if I go back to the daily chart here, what it means is any pullback we get within this zone will just be a retracement. It could be a downtrend, but we cannot say it could just be a retracement where the price makes a new low, where the price has made a higher high, so then make a higher low. So where could we likely find support? Well, we could find support down here. We could also find support. So if you pull up your fib tool and draw from low to high, you'd see that we have the 38.2 fib level, we have the 5.0, the 61.8. So within the 38 and the 5.0 here, we have this zone. So for the week, going into this week, we are more likely, more likely than not, we would see gold dip a little bit. But the news then is it dip a change in trend, or are we looking at just a retracement to then go higher? So these are the two zones I like. The reason being, one of the reasons being, notice how we have this price pocket here, this gap here that the markets will most likely want to fill. We also have kind of like a so we don't have a gap here on the daily chart, but let's go to the 4-hour chart. Let's see. We also don't. So most likely we want to see the market. The market might want to tap into this zone, or maybe continue heading higher. If it fails to hold this zone, we could see it come into this zone. And remember, if the dollar gets stronger, XAU USD would drop, right? So for the week, I'm looking to see if I'm expecting that we will see some drop in gold, especially because of the way the market has sliced through. Smart money has grabbed all the liquidity that rests above here. A lot of people sitting and crying, and then now we see the price drop down. I would look to participate. So my participation would likely be on a much more smaller time frame. I just want to, so now it's not really doing anything exciting. I want to see clear structural break. So what I would like to see here, so this is the 15-minute chart. We are making this kind of move. So I want to see this low get taken out, and I'll look to participate when we get up into the zone with some sort of rejection from this area. So when we get in this zone, I would then be looking to participate, but I want to see us take out this low first, okay? So you seem to have some questions. Okay, hi, Mr. Obin, I'm new to Forex. I've been going through some of your YouTube videos, but so much then. Okay, how can I correlate your question? I think you want to say, how can I correlate pairs play out in situations? Because I heard you say something about BTC. Okay, so and basically the idea is there are certain pairs that tends to move in unison, right? So for example, if the dollar is strong, all the dollar baskets gets, tends to move. They don't move all in the same way, which is the reason I look at the DXY, right? Now, cryptos tend to move in quite a similar fashion. So when you see BTC rising, you most likely find other crypto-related assets rising along with it. That's why if something terrible happens to the BTC, when it's not Ethereum, Ethereum will react to it as well because they are all in the same basket. They're still cryptos. So in that sense, they are what they call it, directly correlated, right? They are directly correlated. So if one goes up, the other goes up with it, most likely. And if one goes down, the other tends to go down with it. In the Forex space, you have things like, so if EURUSD is going up, you're going to see, so EURUSD and USD CHF are kind of inversely correlated. So let me kind of see if I could show you an example. So let's see, so EURUSD. Look at the charts for EURUSD here. You can see that, okay, so the past few days we had this drop. If we look at USD CHF, you see that, anyway, they are not as cleanly correlated as they used to be, but while one is going up, the other one tends to come down. Now, this is not neat in any way as EURUSD is, but you get the gist. Now, you don't take correlation at face value because there are several things that affect all the currencies, right? So, for example, the reason I like to look at USOIL is because it gives a very good insight as to what is most likely, what happens in the USOIL if the oil is gaining. And then you have things like the Canadian currency doing better because one of their major production or produce is crude oil. So if we have a rise in the price per barrel for crude oil, we'll see their currency strengthening. So understanding those correlation can help you, enhance your trading more or less, right? Because it helps you to know, okay, if this is happening here, we're going to likely see this happen here. When everybody is scared, you see the yen tend to perform better because it's treated as a safe haven asset, right? So the yen, in the last few months, it hasn't really performed as a safe haven asset as well as we know it. But in general, it tends to outperform other currencies if the world is feeling scared, right? So with that said, you want to focus on what you're seeing on the chart, right? So you want to focus on what you're seeing on the chart more importantly than the correlation. The correlation is just kind of added confluence to help you enhance what you're looking at and what you're expecting. And if you're looking to hedge sometimes, so for example, you're trading in one direction for another, you could trade the other. So while you gain here, you probably, if one is getting into a drawdown, it will give you an advantage in the other. But you need to understand what you're doing there and to really take advantage of it. Okay, anybody wants me to look at any pair before we call it a wrap? Anybody wants, we still have some time. So if you want me to analyze any currency pair, you let me know. There are some very interesting ones, but I will be discussing those on my with guys in my trading room. So my trading room session is tomorrow and on Wednesday, where we'll be looking at all the currency pairs as much as our time permits. We'll look at the ones I'm more interested in and how I'm looking to trade them. I'm sure some of you are here, you see me, we even look to take some of those trade live. And but for now, anybody wants me to look at any particular pair, if you don't mind? And I hope you're enjoying the training so far. Please give me your comments. And I'll be posting this video on my YouTube channel, so feel free to go back there and rewatch it if you want to gain further insights. Okay, let's see. The CHF. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this is a small scalp I tried to get in this morning. I think I'm up. I think this one is open. Let me look at my MT4 here. I think I've seen your question. I'm going to come back to them shortly. NZDCH. Why didn't get me in? Why? Why didn't it get me in? That's sad. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'll do that. AUD USD Joy. I'm going to get AUD USD. Okay, so AUD USD it is. Let's look at AUD USD. Okay, let's jump up to the daily charts. So yeah, AUD USD has been a sell for me since last week. I think I pointed this on Joy. I think I pointed this on our class in our trading room, and so far this one has so far gone as planned. But where do we stand now? So I'm going to just delete everything we have here, and so clearly, if you look at this, we have after this whole phase, we had this push down, and then we are having this kind of push up. So lower, higher lows, higher highs, and higher lows. And even though we're pulling back down, if you've been selling from here, you want to start protecting your profits. If you've been selling from up here, you want to definitely be protecting your profits because we are going into higher low territory, right? So we're going into higher low territory. So here's what I mean. If this is low to high, so higher low to higher high, we could just be making a higher low before making a new high. So if you've been selling, you want to start protecting profits. If you've not been selling, you don't want to jump in now. If anything, you probably want to look for opportunities to see if you could take this thing higher. So, okay, let's highlight those areas on our charts first of all. Let's use the 4-hour charts. So we had this. So we had this zone low to high. And then all things being equal, looking at the previous structure, we could be just coming into this zone to then go higher. So where could we likely find support to then continue to head higher? Well, down here is looking quite interesting. So if we tap into this zone to be a point of interest for me to see what happens, doesn't mean if you tap into this, then I'll start buying. I will want to find confirmation in here to then take this higher. But if, I'm going to go and manage my open sell positions, although I'll probably look to partial out a little bit here because if we tap into this zone, I'll see how we react, then go higher. However, if we take out this low down here, so if we take out this low here, then most likely we'll continue to drift lower, okay? So I have a rule, I see it, collect it, protect it. So, you want to ensure that you're protecting your profits, and you want to ensure that you are limiting your losses. Okay, so AUD USD, for now, I would want to see what happens here. But if we continue to get a stronger dollar, then there's nothing, if the dollar is strong, the dollar is very strong this morning. If it continues to get stronger, we could slice through here, in which case I could then start looking for opportunities to sell to then take this lower. Okay. So I let the market decide where I trade towards, and then I just float it. XAU USD, I already did gold. I think you probably came in late, but let's just, I'm going to just stop the recording.